$115. During a inspection, they found some pipes that were needing replaced. It's connection where the fire department ties in the back of the building. They need to put in a whole new connection setup. It's $4,415. It needs to be done. I have money in. So with all these, I added all these quotes up in the end. And then I have a estimate for 3 different estimates for Oakstone renovators to do some masonry repairs at my shop and here at the courthouse. Those total, there's one for 3,000, one for 1,500, and one for 2,675. And then I have another quote for VFD, which is has to do with the heating and cooling system in the penthouse. And that quote is for $15,220.10. So
Just to
total
be clear, the penthouse is the utility on the top, very top floor.
grand total of $26,810 for all 3 of these quotes. I'm currently down to about $50,000 for repairs.
I was just looking, but we still have money in there.
Yeah.
All right, well, hold on. Let's separate juvenile for a second.
I haven't even.
That's right. You haven't talked to juvenile. Go through the list.
That was just for discussion.
Okay.
So
it looks like we definitely need to do these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I looking at? 6. Looking at the Corson. You talk about the
5.
5, right?
Yes. Then CCAO and the 3 from Oakstone
Yep. And that would be out of the repairs line item,
in the general fund.
general fund.
Yes.
All right. Motion to approve those.
Second, yes.
Mr. Farrow.
Yes. Now the fun one.
Now, talk to us about the juvenile.
So this final quote that is up for discussion, from the catch basin, the back of Juvenile, there's a line that goes down over the hill and ties into the stormwater drain in the back of RNI. It's collapsed in a couple different places going down over the hill, and large sinkholes started. So I had a Glen Hall Concrete stop in and look at it. And it's for $22,600, and that replaces all the line down over the hill and backfilling.
Is at our expense or at juvenile hall's expense?
That's why I brought it for discussion.
That's code for not budgeted for. Josh, we need to do this.
Yeah, because the sinkholes are getting pretty significant.
And Josh has mentioned it to me for a while.
All right. Certainly trust our maintenance superintendent. Josh, you do a good job. So motion to approve out of capital.
Again,
Commissioner Banks.
yes.
Commissioner Farrow.
Yes.
$10:00, so let's move on to other. Thank you very much, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Good rule. And I get a motion to approve the certificate of proceedings for 21st.
Motion to certify the record of proceedings for April 21st.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Farrow.
Yes.
And then can we get a motion for the requisitions.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
And approve the weekly addition appropriations and transfer request.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Josh still here.
Yes.
Carl, did you have any questions for Josh before he gets away?
No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Okay, sorry, I forgot you.
Well, Sarah, Ms. Kuhn, you have any questions for our maintenance superintendent?
I do, but I don't think it's related to what, not the data center. I don't know if you guys can answer that
At all.
Now we can hear you. You were muffled there a second. Do you have any questions, ma'am? We'll be happy to answer any questions you have not related, but right now we have our maintenance superintendent. Do you as a resident have any questions for our maintenance superintendent? I guess we're gonna go with no.
I think that would be the appropriate. Okay, thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Okay. Can we get a motion well, no, first we've got the weekly additional appropriations and transfer.
You just did.
Get that.
So now we got Steve Risser.
Steve Risser, can we get a motion to appoint him as our sanitary engineer?
Andrew, you want to provide a little background just in case Carl has a question?
Steve, of course, is our building department director. He's a professional engineer, does a great job. Of course, the county also has wastewater division for the county sewer system. And from time to time, our wastewater director needs the assistance of sanitary engineer. And Steve is qualified to do that. In fact, he has been the county sanitary engineer in years past. He's expressed a willingness to, again, perform sanitary engineering duties on an as-needed basis, just when Amanda needs some consulting. So we'd like to make that, to get Steve appointed as our sanitary engineer. If it turns into larger project work, we can still necessitate a contract with a firm, or we could look at reimbursing the building department fund or some of Steve's wages out of the sanitary fund if need be. But this will meet a need, and so we recommend the commissioners make that appointment.
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner Banks,
yes,
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
okay. Then, Andrew, do you want to explain the approval of the resolution opioid settlement agreement?
Sure, this is another settlement agreement with another group of defendants in the national opioid litigation. These are regional distributors, dispensers. We call them the 6 remnant defendants. I can walk through the names if anyone's interested in the company's names, but it's a settlement for over $97 million. Those proceeds will be distributed nationwide to hundreds and thousands of political subdivisions across the United States to be used for opioid mitigation. For Richland County, it will, pursuant to the MOU that was adopted to the One Ohio Foundation some time ago. So we'll handle these funds the same way as we have others.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second. Yes,
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
okay. We've got 20 minutes before our next appointment.
Hero, do you just want to make sure? I think Sarah Kuhn may have had a question. If you,
Sarah, did you have a question?
I do, but can you guys hear me?
yes.
And now,
Okay, perfect. And I don't know if you're able to discuss this at all, but can you guys make any sort of statement on this data center issue that's going like wildfire all over town? Long story short, I live a quarter of a mile from it, and I have a special needs child. And so the concern is fierce right now. Any statement at all?
Sure.
yes,
You want to go first?
Sure. The mayor of Mansfield, the city, in her meeting, I believe it was Tuesday night, they're no longer pursuing this. They would have to annex that part of Franklin Township to make this happen. They are not going to do this, and I would hate to say it's a dead issue, but I believe it's a dead issue for right now. And I don't
Okay.
see it coming back anytime soon.
Okay, and I think the concern, there are a group of us, as I'm sure you've heard about, that are circulating petitions, talking to people. I know that Mr. Cutters, I believe it was his attorney, made a statement that it's not over yet. That they will move I believe what the request for where the annexation was going to be. Have you guys heard anything about that?
Yes. First off, thank you for joining our meeting today. It's nice when Richland County residents watch what we do. I always joke, some people may not think it's so exciting, but I think you are seeing through the statement from Mr. Cutter's attorney why the city of Mansfield decided to end their potential business relationship with Mr. Cutter and Energy Acres. Mr. Cutter has proven, as Mayor Perry said, to make statements and take actions that contravene the best interests of Mansfield, and I'll say Richland County as a whole. Their legal team is welcome to say anything they want.
Okay.
However, you need a willing partner. Again, this would be the city of Mansfield, not Richland County. Granted, the annexation would come through us, but the development agreement, they need city utilities, city partnership, city development agreement. And you're welcome to make any statement you want. And that's why Mr. Cutter and Energy Acres are in the position they are in. And that is they do not have a deal. And as Daryl Banks said, well, you will never say never. I do not see a data center coming into Richland County anytime soon, particularly that Franklin Township location. My
Okay.
conversations with the mayor, she made it clear that they have no desire to enter into any sort of relationship with Mr. Cutter and his legal representation.
And while we
Okay.
have you on the line, one more comment I would make is that somebody put online that Commissioner Mears and Commissioner Banks were in favor of this, and we were not.
Okay, that was actually my next question because I actually attended the meeting where he spoke at, and he made it very clear that, or I shouldn't say made it very clear, he had said that he had been in discussion with the county and the city for about 2 years. Is that not
That is a
true?
bold-faced lie.
Okay.
Mr. Cutter reached out to me just a couple of months ago, and I met him one time for a cup of coffee at Relax It's Just Coffee to understand his project. And Mr. Cutter couldn't even answer basic questions I had for the project at the time, and a subsequent email asking him one simple question: how many full-time equivalent jobs would this bring to Richland County? I have the email. I will send it to you. And he never responded. Mr. Cutter is anything but trustworthy with respect to the statements he made about this office in the city of Mansfield. And you are seeing why there is no relationship with the city of Mansfield and Mr. Cutter. And certainly I have no desire to have any business relationship on behalf of Richland County residents with Mr. Cutter or any of his representatives. That is 100% factually incorrect.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know because when my husband was asking him questions along with several hundred residents, and he could not answer hardly anything that we asked him about it either. So,
That was the experience I had with Mr. Cutter at Relax It's Just Coffee. In
Okay.
fact, hold on one second, because this is, Cliff's not here today. And in this Facebook world we live in, people can say anything and just post anything. So I think you could tell our office a little frustrated with the process and what's being said, particularly about one of our coworkers.
absolutely.
Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can pull up the email here. Okay. This was on February 19th, 2026. He said to me, "Is there anything I can send you to be useful background to have those conversations, timelines, skeleton, etc.?" The first email was to Mayor Perry. My first cognizance of Mr. Cutter himself was February 9th, 2 months ago. So I responded, "I think right now would be an understanding of eventual FTEs, full-time equivalent. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is the total expected new FTEs resulting from the power plant, data center, and farm?" Because he was pitching this nebulous farm concept that, quite frankly, I didn't trust and believe. And I said, "Thank you." And this was February 19th, 2026 at 10:21 in the morning, and it went without a response. And that is the last time I had any communication with Mr. Cutter.
And I think Cliff and I don't know if Cliff even talked to him. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I did talk with him, but it was even after Tony's conversation. And
Okay.
again, we are neither one of us, none of the three of us were.
Okay. That's good to know. And I think, I mean, on the same issue, but obviously a different side because we're on the opposite side of Ernsberger. But it's kind of sad on his part because the people that he made these agreements with, he most likely has turned their lives upside down, promising them millions of dollars for land that was never guaranteed to them or that was never guaranteed to be sold. So yeah, thank you for the comments because we have a lot of us are very just unsure of what the future holds.
Oh, we're not unsure of what the future holds. There's no desire for me to enter into any sort of relationship on behalf of Richland County residents with Mr. Cutter.
Okay.
That's not unclear. That is very clear. I can continue to read this email. I was also very clear that, listen, he was going around, I would say, speaking in the pejorative about the city of Mansfield, sort of basically saying Mansfield needs me in my development. And I said, I need to be very clear. Our support will be that in terms of the city's desires and intentions with respect to this specific project. We will work to that end as long as our county interests do not conflict with that of the cities. Look forward to working with you. So that's when he sent that email. And then I said, "Hey, man, how many full-time equivalents here?" Because at one point he told me it would bring 5,000 jobs to Richland County.
Which
And
was
I
a
called-
bold-faced lie.
That's a lie. And I don't even need to be an expert. And then he said, "Well, it's 5,000 construction jobs," which is still a lie. And that's why I said, enough of this. Just how many full-time jobs would your entire project bring? And he couldn't answer the question.
Yeah, and when he answered that in the meeting, I think it was 2,000 to 3,000 over the course of building the facility, and maybe 250 as full-time after the facility.
No way. No way.
Okay.
He couldn't keep track of his what statements. He couldn't remember from what he was saying from one day to the next.
Okay. That's good to know. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I probably I'm assuming that this video is public or this recording is public.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
ma'am, I've had people reach out to me via Facebook, call my office. I'd prefer they call the office because I try to make sure that my Facebook page, which I'm not very active on social media, please call our office, email me. I had people
Okay.
call my cell phone Sunday night. The mistruths that were being spread by this individual, he has proven to be anything but trustworthy. Cliff, Daryl, and myself are not supportive of this project whatsoever. And you can make that known to everybody. I have zero interest in entering into any sort of business relationship on behalf of Richland County with this
Okay.
individual or any of his representatives. I can't be any more clear.
Now, if he, I know at the meeting, he said that they would be back on February 20th to attend the township meeting again. If he is back in town for this, will somebody from the county or city be attending?
You said February 20th?
Or I'm sorry, May 20th.
Not to my knowledge. I'll speak with the township trustees. I mean, we go to meetings all the time. But I don't necessarily at this time see any reason to be there because it's a done issue. He could talk till
Okay.
he's blue in the face.
And,
Okay.
and the conversations with one of the trustees, you got an ally.
Yeah, we have been in constant communication with the Franklin Township trustees.
Perfect.
Spoke with Sam Sauter, and Jody and the trustees have even had conversations, and I want to be careful how I say this, but I think there's also some conversations and maybe steps the township can take. So we are in lockstep with the trustees, and Jody and I talk. And you saw her statement, and his
Mhm.
statement that this was 80% done. From what I understand, Sarah, he hadn't even procured the power yet to even make this project possible. I mean, how could you say with a straight face that this project is almost 80% complete? He didn't have buy-in from the city, certainly didn't have buy-in from the county. He didn't have all his ducks in a row in terms of a power. This guy just talks without even knowing what he has told other people. And he looked me in the eye and said 5,000 jobs, and I was just looked at him and rolled my eyes.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Well, thank you guys so much for your comments. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us today and spread the word. And anyone is welcome to. Cliff is with the land bank today, so Daryl and I are in. Call
Okay.
us, email us. We'll be happy to share.
Oh yeah, I'm sure this is not the last time you guys will hear from me.
Well, we admire your perseverance, so I don't want to tell you to stop, but it is a done issue.
Okay.
Jody and the city will not be partaking in any sort of development agreement with this guy. It's the opposite of Bucky's, who has been good to work with. This guy has not been good to work with.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much.
You got it.
Thanks for contacting us. Okay. All right. Carl, questions?
Just to continue along that line for a moment, one of the things, and I have seen the latest email from Dilshad Kazmani, who's the chief legal officer, apparently based in Houston. Obviously, in his email, they'd like to continue this, but if I understand this, following the same line of Bucky's, if they wanted to annex land anywhere in the county into a city, and I'll just say the city of Shelby, I'm just throwing out a hypothetical. They wanted to annex land into the city of Shelby for a similar type project. That annexation has to be approved by the county commissioners, correct?
If they meet certain statutory requirements, but it would also have to go to city council similar to Bucky's. And that's where
It would come here
it
first.
would come here first.
Right. So I guess my question is, are you saying that if this company comes to you guys in a similar way that Bucky's did, at this point, the county would reject that kind of annexation?
I don't know if we legally could. We'd have to review it to look at our avenues to accept or reject. I don't know that answer. I'm not trying to be vague, Carl. We'd have to look at whether or not the petitioner met the statutory requirements.
Depends on the type of
It
annexation.
depends on the type of annexation, what's in it.
And that would certainly come after conversations with
Right.
city of Shelby and the townships.
I mean, to me, it would be foolish if you're gonna file a petition annexation when the city of Mansfield would never approve the annexation to begin with. But nothing would surprise me with this individual. I'll put it that way.
Okay. All right. And well, Sarah asked a lot of the questions I was going to, so thank you for that, Sarah. If I could back up for a moment to the Steve Risser thing, when's the last time the county had somebody listed as the sanitary engineer? Was that the last time Steve was working there?
So, the most recent sanitary engineer was a gentleman by the name of Bruce Verdanier, Carl. He had done some both sanitary and stormwater engineering services for the county. But he no longer is able to provide any of those services. So he would have been the last person in that position, and that was through contract.
Okay, I was going to ask whether he was a contract guy. Does part of this stem from the recent problems or issues along 97 with that wet well that filled up, and there were issues with that?
It's not specifically related to that, Carl, but I mean, certainly anytime, and by the way, we have a contracted engineer, of course, on the Belleville sewer upgrade project. But no, it's not specifically related to that incident. But it came up in conversation quite recently with our wastewater director. And in discussions with Steve, we decided it was timely and it would be a good idea so that he's available. Sanitary engineering consulting.
Now, last question on this. You said it's on an as-needed basis. Does Steve get a pay raise for this, or is that if it's needed so much, then eventually he gets paid, or how does that work? Because I know Steve's a busy guy and he's taking on a lot of jobs.
There's no pay raise connected to this. And Steve has offered to use his existing time to assist with these projects. If it becomes time intensive, we'll either have to contract for sanitary engineering services, or if Steve has additional time that he can allocate, we would reimburse a portion of his salary out of wastewater funds, which is not happening presently.
Okay. Well, that's what I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl. And we will take a 3-minute recess, and at 10 o'clock, nope, 2 minutes. 10 o'clock, we will be adjourned. It is 10 o'clock. We are back in session, and we've been joined. Buzzing. I hear Pat, Topsy, Sherry. Would you have a colorful notebook here for us to look at?
Thank you.
We did have the option, we did have it with us yesterday, but you brought us a.
Apologize. I didn't know that you guys already had a copy. I should have guessed that you had, but I didn't want to come
Sure.
down empty handed and then you say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Much better to have it ahead of time, and much better that we got two rather than have none.
Very true, very true. This is in regards to GBS document imaging. This is an application that
Would you tell everybody what GBS is?
it's a document imaging application. So anything that you want to convert over to a PDF, it is, that's what it does. And then it will store that file electronically. So you no longer have to keep a paper copy of a record. It's already being implemented into several different departments in the county. And earlier this year, I was approached by Pat asking, can we do our historical permanent records that's on microfiche and film? And I'm like, yeah, it can be done. So, you know, I did go and I searched some different companies, but on the flip side, this is a company that's already implemented here at the county. So I figured I would just, you know, target that company and go forward. They did come on site and take a look at our stuff. This is kind of their solution after they spoke to us, after they saw what we've got. But still keep in mind, this is kind of a guess because they really don't know what they're gonna get until they actually start scanning for the film and for the microfiche. But they're pretty much right on target, I believe, to what is needed and what's implemented and can be implemented. We had 3 different departments. We had the finance, payroll, and Stacy's with her commissioner notes and books to be looked at. They did say we can do it all at once. They did say we can do this so much at a time. It's not a all-in-one kind of project that has to be done today. It's just kind of like the approval to move forward. If there are funds out there that can help move this project in the right direction, that would be great. If not, we'll properly budget for the 2027 era. But I do know that one of the departments that was real estate forward today, but I don't know about the others and what we can do with that. And it's just pretty much to say yay or nay, and we go.
All right, so just to be clear, where would the funding come from?
Real estate, their microfiche would have, we'd be using it this year. Using real estate monies to take care of that. We would budget for next year for finance. With the 27 budget that we submit to the commissioners. The reason why this all came up is basically the microfiche reader that's in the recorder's office is not only on its last leg, probably needs more things for the room. Because you can't even, you can't even see what the screen shows. It's to the point where either we find a solution by buying another machine or possibly doing it electronically so that you can access at your desk. If you need the historical records. Real estate is not so bad as needing it on an interim basis even, but finance does get questions. From employees that have left, or if they've left and gone somewhere else, we'll get questions about it. Copies of different types of paperwork.
You're good. He just spoke a long time and I don't think he answered the question, did he, Andrew?
No, I've been wanting to class.
So how much, I know we can't say spot on, but let's say how much of the real estate and finance portion takes up the contract? Because ultimately then the question or the answer we're looking for is what's the commitment from general fund, capital, et cetera, moving forward?
Right. It just depends on how many documents. Like we have over 1 million documents on our fish, both real estate and finance.
All right, let's say,
Somebody actually pulling the fish out and start counting them. We can't answer that specific question.
we got a range of about 65,000 right now, right?
I assume so. I don't.
Which pales in comparison to what Adam Goes asks are gonna be for next, but,
Well, we always like to come before Adam so that you can at least look at us.
We got a little bit.
But 11,000's real estate will be paid from the non-general fund real estate fund. So that's, I mean, yes, you're right.
It's not something that's gonna get done in 1 or 2 years or 3 years. We can do it piecemeal over.
Mhm.
And then in the future, we'll do, what we archive will be done.
This way instead of
This way.
microfiche it first and then transferring it over.
And that will cost whatever how many pages you have.
Right.
Andrew, Stacy, what are your thoughts?
Necessary to change vendors at some point in the future? Is that a seamless process for a vendor to pay, give you these on?
Sure. Sure, because it's based on your fish and like say JBS went out of business. We found another vendor to do it. They're gonna do the same thing within their business, but the ultimate result is so that we can electronically look at it on the computer. Put it on a drive up in IT, and it's permanent records only. It's not for record, any records. It's the ones that we are required to keep permanently, just like the commissioner's journals. And that's why we asked Stacy if she was interested in hearing about it and seeing demonstrations, because she does a lot of microfishing when it comes to the journals.
Andrew, Stacy, something we need to do, right, to start moving forward and.
I'd like to.
So then I guess we need a motion to approve. The question is do we have contingency or should we allot money?
Right. You can approve to move forward with it in real estate this year.
Okay,
You can address any money for future projects next year's budget.
motion to approve with real estate with discussion on future monies following.
Before I second,
Mhm.
how soon do you want to, is next year starting?
Here's fine. Heather's already doing our smaller journals. So my number will probably go down because IT hooked us up with the scanner and, but yeah, no, next year's fine.
Great. Great, I'll second.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Mr. Barrow.
Yes.
Very much appreciate your help.
Hang on. Any questions, Carl?
As much as I'd like to take the opportunity to grill the Richland County Auditor at all times,
Please,
I don't have any.
we got 7 minutes. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I don't have anything this time.
Has anybody explained to the commissioners your true feelings about Republicans?
I don't know that they've been to the play, and those are not my words. I merely mouthed them.
You know what? It doesn't matter because they sure sounded like you were really serious about that. You must be a great actor.
Well, see, I don't have to worry about them finding out because they are not patrons of the local arts, and I do not fear them coming to the Mansfield
Are you
Playhouse.
kidding me? My wife especially goes to about every artsy, she's a huge supporter and I go with her to some events as well. Now,
I
if
look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Are you the grumpy old man in the,
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe we look at who's,
Anybody play a
maybe we look at the local so-called talent and see who's in it and go, well, this ain't gonna be any good, so.
Patrick,
that
but you know
Republican
what?
tie that you got?
Right. I think we
We had
maybe saw
large-
Hunnell's name and we said, we gotta tie our shoes or something.
We had large audiences last weekend, and I believe, with the possible exception of Mr. Dropsy, everyone there enjoyed it.
I didn't say I didn't.
That can't be true.
I didn't
That
say
can't
I
be
didn't
true.
enjoy it. Now, don't put words into my mouth, Mr. Hunnell.
Yes.
All I know is that you were constantly disparaging Republicans in that play. And
Yes.
but I really was more concerned about being able to look at that Republican tie with all the elephants on it.
Well, if you'd like, it definitely is a Republican tie. I can happily. They went out and purchased that for the show, and it is a Republican tie with elephants all over it.
Well, I will say it was a good show and you
Thank
do a nice job.
That's not what you said when the
Thank
recorder
you,
was
Pat.
off.
I know, you're right, but I have to be careful around Carl. He's also a Navy guy, so, I mean, that's 2 strikes against him right there, but it's neither here nor there.
But I did not go to Miami University, so there you do have that.
yes.
That's true.
Maybe that's why no one went and saw the play.
I would recommend it if people like plays. It was believable after a while. You get lost into the act, and everybody did a good job.
It sounded like very interesting play,
It
but of
was.
course,
Well,
I
most
hang around a
plays,
bunch of grumpy old men, so
most plays that I've been
Yeah.
involved in, the playwrights, I believe, are fairly liberal. So if there are disparaging remarks, it's usually directed toward conservatives.
Speaking like a liberal, just name somebody else.
Well, actually, the gentleman who wrote the play came to the shows over the weekend.
I know you
And
sitting right in front of me.
Yeah, he wrote this. He's from Iowa. He wrote this in 2004. And at the time, he said he was a Republican. He was a George Bush Republican. but he didn't like the way things were going, and he ended up writing it that way. But he said he was a Republican when he wrote it.
Did he say where in Iowa?
Brunel,
Okay.
there's a college that he works for there.
Hot
Very
off the
nice
pr-
guy.
Hot off the presses, May sales tax is projected to be 8.9% better in 2026 than 2025. Hot off the presses.
We will now take a 3-minute recess and re-adjourn at 10:15.
There's a reason for that.
Oh, Stacy.
There's my backup.
Yeah. We've been joined by Adam Gove, who's in here, our engineer. And Adam would like to buy some trucks. Tell us about it.
All right, so this is a larger purchase than I had anticipated for the year. Last summer, I came to you and asked for permission to buy 2 dump trucks.
And was granted.
It was approved.
Why do you need more?
So they built the trucks, they sent us some pictures. The first thing we noticed was the color was wrong, which not a big deal. We can live with a different colored truck.
The pink ones just don't go with you.
It was orange at least.
It's orange.
Wasn't.
I like orange.
Yeah. So we were all right with that, but we went and took a look at the trucks. They built them to the wrong specification. They had the wrong kind of suspension, wrong axle spacing. It wasn't going to fit what we wanted to do with the trucks. So we asked for 2 at the same price, built correctly. They balked and said, no, we'd have to do it at the new price, which is $155,214 per truck. That's through a Sourcewell contract. And so we would like permission to buy the two from last year and one for this year.
Didn't buy any last
We
year.
did not buy any last year. No. So that would be an expense that was carried over to this.
Money.
Now, Cliff's not here. You vote yes, or I vote yes, and you vote no. I mean,
Yep.
You want the no or the yes, so you,
the point. Carl, who wants to know here? Motion to approve.
second. Is this from the same company?
It is from the same.
I'm confident that they can come through this time.
I'm very comfortable that they will make the.
And if they don't, we will be looking for a different company.
Correct. Yes.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow?
Yes.
Got questions?
Sure.
Go ahead, Carl.
Oh, thank you. Adam, what's the name of the company that can't build the truck?
It would be Hill International.
What was the first word?
Hill, Hill.
Okay. Where are they based out of?
They do have an office here, or a building here in Mansfield on Longview Avenue.
Right. And what explanation did they provide when you went to look at the trucks? I don't care about the color. I mean, I love pink as much as the next guy, but explanation for how they couldn't meet other specifications.
They could, they just messed up the order somewhere and built the trucks incorrectly. So by the time it was the end of the year, by the time they had them built, and they would not honor, we didn't really have a contract, we just had a purchase agreement, basically. And they would not honor that old price for building them correctly this year.
What was that price that you had last year?
It was approximately 138,000. So it is about a $17,000 increase from last year per truck.
Okay, but that 138 per that you ordered last year, that they didn't collect on that because they didn't deliver.
Correct.
The
Yeah,
trucks
we did not pay them any money last year for trucks.
All right. And what were the specifications they had wrong again?
It was the suspension and the axle spacing.
Okay. That's what I needed. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
10:19, and we will stand in recess till 10:30.
Sorry, what's up?
Hey, you got a minute?
Yeah.
All right.
It is 10:30. The board is back in session. We'd like to go in executive session for the purpose of disciplinary for a county employee.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
We are 10:50 and we are out of executive session back into regular session, and after executive session, we are taking no action. And can I get a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of compensation of county employee?
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Fair.
Yes.
Afternoon.
I'm not coming out.
Cheeseburgers.
You need me to come out for something or what's going on?
No, we're having cheeseburgers today for lunch.
Oh,
Last time I went out, they had seafood. So.
Michelle.
Hey, it's 11:02 and we are back in regular session, and after executive session, we have nothing to report. And we will, anybody have any questions, anything else to bring before the board? It is 11:02 and we stand adjourned.